The Rainbow Six series is one with a very dedicated fanbase since its initial release back in 1998. The game's mechanics has a unique feel to it that sets it apart from other popular shooters the likes of Call of Duty and Counter-Strike. Many fans consider Rainbow Six Vegas 2 the last real Rainbow Six release back in 2008, so you can imagine how excited many were when a sequel was finally announced after almost 5 years. And so in today's video, I'll be discussing Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Patriots. Rainbow Six Patriots is the cancelled sequel to Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas 2. It was being developed by Ubisoft Montreal with additional developer support by Ubisoft Toronto and Ubisoft Red Storm. It was going to be released for the PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360, but was later set to be released for the next-gen consoles PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, after it was determined that the next-gen consoles would come sooner than later. The plot of the game revolved around Team Rainbow, who was called to New York City to deal with a terrorist group calling themselves the True Patriots. The True Patriots have taken it upon themselves to seek vengeance on behalf of the alleged victims of what they call the Wall Street corruption. To complicate the situation, the new leader of Team Rainbow is James Rolfe, a former Navy SEAL who is known for his unethical ways for dealing with the True Patriots. As Echo leader, a man who looks up to Rolfe as a father figure, they must stop the True Patriots at all costs, even at the price of their own personal morality. The leader of the True Patriots was a man named Jonah Treadway, an influential figurehead planning to cause havoc across America, targeting New York in particular. Now, this game consisted of a first-person tactical shooter with squad-based mechanics and a third-person cover-based mechanics as well. It was first planned to be released in 2013 on the game's themes of modern eco-terrorism and was to be heavily story-based. Creative director David Sears said, "Terrorism has evolved, and so has Rainbow Six. In Rainbow Six Patriots, all the team play tactics and realism that the fans of the series loved have been coupled with an existing new narrative direction. This adds an unprecedented level of humanity that will make Rainbow Six Patriots an extremely tense and immersive experience." According to an article written on Kotaku, the most interesting looking thing about the story is how the game allowed players to experience the game from a variety of perspectives. 80% of the campaign will be played from a perspective of the counter-terrorist team Rainbow Six. The remaining 20 would be experienced from the perspective of other characters, from innocent civilians to first responders like ambulance drivers and firefighters, and even the terrorists themselves. Now, if you're a fan of previous Rainbow Six games, you would know that you and the AI die very easily in a matter of a few bullets. The enemy AI in Patriots had been subject to a complete overhaul. The enemies, for example, were much tougher to kill. According to Ubisoft, the average lifespan of enemies in previous games was about 4 seconds. In Patriots, that was going to be closer to 40 seconds. Also, enemies would act as realistic as possible. Some enemies would trip and fall when under heavy fire or drop a magazine while reloading their weapons. Now, to be honest, this sounds really cool, and I don't think it's been done to this day. Now, as far as multiplayer goes, multiplayer would have had a mechanic where both teams use a virtually generated map called the Sand Table to study the map to plan out tactics and enact them. The Sand Table made it possible to assign various routes, positions, and tactics to button shortcuts that can then be called on the fly during an actual match. After planning tactics in the Sand Table, players will enter a matchmaking lobby which continued to focus on the immersion by looking like a VTOL ship. As players enter the lobby, they'll have a seat across from one another and wait to be deployed within a map via fast roping from the VTOL. After finding reason to believe that someone may leak their preliminary target gameplay footage, Ubisoft chose to prematurely announce the game through a trailer on November 4, 2011. It was stressed that the trailer showed a pre-rendered concept created in 2010 of what a level in the final game might look like, rather than footage of the current game build itself. Development took a turn for the worse when Ubisoft Montreal removed creative director David Sears, narrative director Richard Rouse III, lead designer Philip Theron, and animation director Brent George as part of a team reconstruction. As we can read on Game Informer, Ubisoft Montreal CEO Yanis Malat said that in spite of the reconstructing, the vision that creative director David Sears created was still intact. Another problem with development of Patriots was the release of the 8th generation consoles PS4 and Xbox One. E3 2003, Ubisoft confirmed that the game remained in development but would now be produced for the newer generation consoles. It is believed that this switch is what set the team back drastically behind schedule. As Ubisoft's North American head, Laurent de Toc, explained, "We had a core team. They had a good vision. They got started and then the game wasn't working, so they had to start again. There's an editorial group in Ubisoft, a very big group, very influential. If the game was not good enough, they said it wasn't good enough. Most of the time the team will say, yeah, I know. But sometimes they want to continue in a direction where you say, no, it's not going to work." Rainbow Six had to be remade. Now they're going to have the benefit of the new consoles, if and when it comes out. It's one of those examples where you try, it doesn't work, you try again. If it doesn't work, we're not going to bring it to you. The game went very silent for months, and people such as myself stood by and wondered what happened to Rainbow Six Patriots. Well, in June 2014, it was announced that Rainbow Six Patriots was officially cancelled, and Ubisoft decided to restart development with Rainbow Six Siege. Now, to be honest, it felt like Ubisoft wanted to wait a very long time to announce its cancellations, so that fans could just forget about the game altogether, and it kinda worked. Now, even though Rainbow Six Patriots looked cool and all, I have to say I wasn't disappointed with Rainbow Six Siege. The game is very team-based and it requires thoughtful planning and teamwork, not just your typical run-and-gun Rambo shooter that everyone seems to be so fond of nowadays. In my opinion, it seems like shooters are lacking this concept of teamwork and lean more towards you can do it all by yourself. But anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and check out some of my other videos if you like, and also check out Bit Cultures for other gaming content. I'll have the link in the description below, and I'll see you all next time.